It's 3:17 a.m., the hour where demons wake. Your room is silent, but your mind is a battlefield exploding with noise. The shadows on your walls aren't just shadows anymore. They're reflections of the life you're too afraid to face. Your phone glares beside you like a neon coffin, offering you tiny hits of poison disguised as pleasure. You told yourself tonight would be different. You swore tomorrow you'd rise like a king. But once again, you've sold your soul to a glowing rectangle, trading your dreams for crumbs of dopamine that vanish before you can even taste them. Let's not sugarcoat it. You are not living. You are being lived. Every scroll is a self-inflicted wound. Every notification is a leash tightening around your neck. And while you sit there bleeding invisible wounds, your potential screams from the other side of the bars you've built around yourself. You are haunting your own existence, a ghost chained to his own unfinished story, powerless not because life is cruel, but because you've surrendered the pen that writes your destiny. But imagine this twist of fate. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor of the known world, once woke up feeling like you do right now. Crushed by weight, dragged by fatigue, tempted to waste his mornings, and Epictetus, chained, tortured, broken, discovered a freedom inside his mind that no master could touch. These men didn't tweet pretty quotes. They didn't sip tea and talk about finding balance. They walked through fire, betrayal, plague, and death, and forged iron souls in the furnace of chaos. And tonight, yes, tonight, your excuses die. Not tomorrow, not when the weekend comes. Right here, in this very moment, the battlefield shifts. Because I'm about to put 5 Stoic rules in your hands like blades, forged to cut through your comfort, your weakness, your distractions. And once they slice into you, there is no going back. These aren't life tips. These are war strategies. Weapons for those sick of being marionettes dancing on invisible strings. Weapons for those ready to torch mediocrity to the ground and rise like something unrecognizable. So picture yourself 6 months from now, not in some fantasy world where everything magically falls into place, but in the real furnace of chaos. Imagine being the man who doesn't flinch when storms hit, who bends pain into power, who looks unshakable even when the world trembles. That man already exists. He's trapped inside you, buried under years of scrolling, laziness, and lies. He's clawing at the walls, suffocating under your wasted nights, begging you to wake up and set him free. And before we march into this transformation, I'm asking you for blood-level commitment. Smash that like button like you're smashing the chains on your wrists. Throw your biggest weakness into the comments like you're burning it alive. Share this video like it's a torch for someone else still lost in the dark. And whatever you do, don't skip a single word of what's coming. Your future self is standing in the corner of this room, watching, waiting, daring you to finally rise. Now let's get into it. The first rule doesn't knock politely on your door. It kicks it off the hinges and drags you out of your comfort zone by the throat. This isn't some cute self-help tip about limiting screen time. No, this is war. And your enemy lives in your pocket, glowing with the sickly blue light of slow, spiritual death. Every time your hand twitches toward that device without intention, you're not checking your phone, you're kneeling to it. You're bowing before your captor, letting your soul be bled dry, drop by drop, scroll by scroll. Your phone is not a tool anymore, it's a predator, a silent assassin that steals not your money, but something far more valuable, your attention, your inner peace, your ability to think deeply without interruption. And make no mistake, this theft is not random, it's engineered. Behind every swipe is a team of corporate scientists paid to sink hooks into your brain chemistry, to turn you into a willing lab rat chasing pellets of digital dopamine. You think you're in control? Look at your own hands. They move before your mind even catches up. That's not control. That's slavery in disguise. Epictetus had his leg shattered by his master, yet even as a crippled slave, he found a freedom most of you will never touch. He said, "No one can hurt you without your permission." But today, you give permission every time that screen lights up. You give permission every time you can't sit with your own thoughts for 5 minutes without reaching for that glowing leash. You're not living free. You're handing your leash to strangers, begging them to yank it whenever they please. Now, I want you to replay yesterday in your mind with brutal honesty. How many times did your hand move toward your phone like a puppet being jerked by invisible strings? How many hours dissolved into TikToks, reels, feeds, stories? Hours you can't even recall because the content wasn't meant to stay. It was meant to drain you and vanish. That wasn't entertainment. That wasn't connection. That was your life force being milked like cattle in a factory farm, your attention harvested for profit while you call it relaxing. Here's the brutal prescription, and it's not up for debate. You will implement what I call the sacred hours protocol. 2 hours every morning, 2 hours every night, where your phone ceases to exist. Not on silent, not shoved in your pocket. It doesn't exist. You create a sacred exile for that parasite. During those hours, you breathe differently. You hear your thoughts without static. You feel the pulse of life again. You remember that you were once a human being with imagination, depth and fire before you became a thumb scrolling endlessly like a machine. But here's where most of you will fail. You'll think this is about discipline, about willpower, about trying harder wrong. This is about identity. You're not fighting your phone. You're burying the old version of yourself who was weak enough to be ruled by one. You're not resisting distraction. You're becoming someone who lives at such a high frequency that cheap digital junk food disgusts you. You evolve beyond it. You stop begging for scraps from the algorithm's table and instead reclaim the throne of your own mind. Understand this: the war for your attention is the war for your life. And if you lose, you'll wake up one day surrounded by wasted years, unable to remember what you did with your time, because it all dissolved into a glowing screen. But if you win, if you master this discipline, you don't just get back hours. You get back yourself. You reclaim your mental real estate, brick by brick, thought by thought, until your inner fortress is unshakable. And when that happens, when you walk through life no longer chained by invisible strings, people will feel it. They'll see it in your eyes, hear it in your voice, sense it in your presence. You'll become untouchable, because you will have proved the most dangerous truth in this modern age, that you are no longer owned. Most people live their entire lives as slaves to their own emotions, bowing to every surge of anger, drowning in every wave of fear, collapsing under every drop of sadness. They think their feelings are kings, untouchable gods to be obeyed. But emotions are not gods. They are weather-passing storms, temporary shadows, clouds that gather and vanish. And you are not the thunder. You are not the lightning. You are the vast, eternal sky that holds them all without ever being destroyed. Yet you've been living as if you were nothing more than a trembling leaf in the wind, whipped around by every gust. That lie has cost you your strength, your dignity, your freedom. Think about the insanity of your days. You wake up ready to conquer. Your chest is alive, your mind sharp, your blood roaring with purpose. And then it takes almost nothing to unravel you. a single line in an email dripping with passive aggression, a partner's word, sharpened just enough to pierce your pride. A wall of traffic choking the road until you feel your blood boil. And just like that, the warrior you were an hour ago disappears. A puppet replaces you, strings yanked violently by circumstances you cannot control. How humiliating is it to watch your entire spirit collapse because of things that don't even last 5 minutes? Marcus Aurelius, a man who carried the weight of plagues, wars, and betrayals, did not crumble. He etched fire into eternity. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This was not poetry. This was survival. He wasn't writing from a cushioned palace. He was drenched in chaos, surrounded by enemies, betrayed by friends, watching his empire burn. Yet even in that furnace he knew, no external force could ever dictate the state of his soul. Only he could decide that. That's what you keep forgetting. You're not broken by the world. You're broken by the weakness of handing it the keys to your throne. Every time you say, "They made me angry. That stressed me out. I can't control how I feel," you are lying. You are abdicating. You are kneeling before shadows and crowning them king of your inner world. You are surrendering your birthright, the right to rule yourself. You are bowing to illusions, begging them to destroy you. And until you admit this, you will never taste freedom. But the chains can be shattered. You must become the thermostat of your emotions, not the thermometer. You will not simply react, you will dictate. And the weapon that will carve this truth into your bones is what I call the pause protocol. When the tidal wave of emotions slams against your chest, don't drown, don't flail, don't let the storm claim you. Stop, stand, breathe. 3 long, deliberate breaths that feel like inhaling raw power and exhaling centuries of weakness. And then ask the question that divides slaves from sovereigns. Is this feeling pulling me closer to the person I am becoming, or dragging me back to the corpse of who I used to be? Do not ask if the feeling is justified. Feelings are always justified. Do not ask if you're right. Self-righteousness is the disguise of weakness. Ask only this: does this fire forge steel, or does it burn down your temple? If it elevates you, wield it like a weapon. If it corrodes you, sever it like a disease. That is how you stop being the puppet and become the puppeteer. When you master this, storms will lose their power. People will spit venom, but it will not touch you. They will betray you, insult you, provoke you, but you will not flinch. Your face will become stone, your presence untouchable, your spirit immovable. Weak men will fear you because they cannot sway you. Strong men will revere you because you embody the rarest power left in this broken age, sovereignty over your own soul. And when you stand at that height, when no storm can shake you, when no insult can pierce you, when no chaos can break you, you will finally understand what true freedom feels like. The world will keep screaming, but you will walk through it untouched, carrying a silence so powerful that it drowns out the noise of 1,000 storms. There are people in your life right now who smile at you while secretly suffocating you. They don't carry knives or guns, but their weapon is far deadlier. They drain your life force, slowly, quietly, relentlessly. And the worst part? You've allowed it. You've mistaken obligation for love, loyalty for slavery, and compassion for self-betrayal. Every conversation with them feels like stepping into quicksand. You leave heavier, darker, weaker, and if you don't cut the cord, they will strangle the last drop of vitality out of your soul until nothing remains but a hollow shell. Seneca, drenched in power and wealth yet still haunted by the fragility of human ties, once wrote, "Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end." You know what that means? It means your rebirth begins with a funeral, the funeral of toxic attachments. But here's the sinister twist. The ones you most desperately need to release are often the ones you've built your identity around. The friend who only remembers you when their world collapses. The family member who drags their storm into every gathering, poisoning the air with endless complaints. The co-worker who spills their chaos onto you like a sewage pipe, leaving you spiritually contaminated. These people don't need your help. They need your energy. And you've been their battery, their therapist, their trash can, all while pretending it was kindness. Let's be mercilessly honest. That's not kindness. That's addiction. You've become addicted to being needed, addicted to playing savior, addicted to sacrificing your own evolution so others can use you as their emotional crutch. And this addiction is not noble. It's suicide in slow motion. Every hour you spend absorbing their negativity is an hour stolen from your empire, your mission, your fire. You've been assassinating your own potential in the name of compassion, and you know it. Think about your last week. Really think. After each encounter, did you walk away lighter, sharper, alive? Or did you walk away drained, diminished, poisoned by their chaos? Stop lying to yourself. Your body already knows the truth. Your chest tightens around them. Your energy collapses after them. Your spirit shrinks in their presence. That's not love. That's corrosion. And if you keep tolerating it, your dreams will rot in the shadows of people who never had the courage to build their own. Your energy is not infinite. It is not some cheap resource to be given freely like scraps to beggars. It is sacred, priceless, rarer than diamonds, and more powerful than armies. Every time you waste it on an energy vampire, you're not being selfless. You're committing theft against yourself. You are robbing the empire you could build, the greatness you could embody, and trading it for the privilege of carrying someone else's baggage. That is not compassion. That is betrayal of your destiny. So you will begin the energy audit protocol tonight, not tomorrow. For 7 days, you will rate your energy before and after every meaningful interaction. Cold, ruthless, scientific. Track the numbers like your life depends on it, because it does. When the data reveals the truth, and it will, you'll see patterns carved in stone. Certain faces drain you like vampires in disguise, others elevate you like sacred fire. And once you see the truth in numbers, you'll no longer be able to hide behind excuses. You'll either cut the cords or stay enslaved. There is no middle ground, and when you finally sever those ties, when you tear the leeches from your skin, you will feel it. The air will taste different. Your chest will expand like it's been unshackled for the first time in years. You will stand taller, walk sharper, speak clearer, because the weight of false connections will no longer be strangling your spirit. And the world will feel your shift. They will sense that you are no longer available as a feeding ground. You will become untouchable, unstoppable, a fortress of energy and power, and that is when your true beginning finally ignites. Most people don't live. They drift like ghosts through their own existence, scattered across past regrets and future fears, never fully arriving in the only place that life actually exists, the present moment. You've been tricked into believing that your mind belongs everywhere but here. Part of you is shackled to yesterday's failures, endlessly replaying what you should have done differently. Another part is dragged forward into tomorrow, gnawed by worries and fantasies about what hasn't even happened yet. And what's left, what little of you is actually here, isn't enough to taste life, to feel its fire, to seize its power. You're fragmented, diluted, and wandering through your own days like a refugee exiled from your own existence. Marcus Aurelius, crushed beneath the unbearable weight of plague, betrayal, war, and the entire Roman Empire itself, still carved out the wisdom to say, confine yourself to the present. Do you grasp how impossible that should have been? Surrounded by chaos, drowning in the screams of an empire tearing itself apart. Yet he knew the truth. The present is the only arena where strength can be forged, where decisions have meaning, where transformation breathes. But you, living in far more comfort than him, can't even drink your morning coffee without your mind sprinting into a dozen different time zones that don't exist. Face this brutal reality. Every moment you waste reliving a past that cannot be touched, you bleed away energy that could be building a future worth living. Every second you spend trembling over a tomorrow that doesn't yet exist is power leaking from your soul, like blood from an open wound. You are not busy. You are homeless in time, wandering the ruins of yesterday, begging at the gates of tomorrow, while the palace of today stands right in front of you, abandoned. Look at your own life. This morning, when you brushed your teeth, were you truly brushing them, or were you rehearsing arguments in your head, scrolling through phantom conversations, drowning in endless lists? When you drank your coffee, did you taste its fire, feel its warmth, savor its ritual? Or did you guzzle it mindlessly as fuel for your racing anxiety? Every act, every moment, every breath is reduced to background noise, while your mind keeps sprinting into shadows. You've been sleepwalking through the only life you'll ever have, mistaking movement for living, mistaking racing thoughts for consciousness. But this exile ends now. You will rip yourself back into the present with claws if you have to. You will implement what I call the anchor practice, and you will treat it not as a tip, but as a lifeline. Choose 5 sacred rituals every day: brushing your teeth, washing your hands, drinking water, stepping through a doorway, taking your first conscious breath when you wake. These are not habits anymore. They are portals, doorways back into the raw immediacy of life. When you perform them, you will not be elsewhere. You will not drift. You will anchor yourself fully into the moment. Taste it, feel it, own it like it's the last time you'll ever live it. Because here's the devastating truth. One day, it will be the last. One day, you will brush your teeth for the final time. One day, you will drink your last cup of coffee. One day, you will wake up and not know that it's the final sunrise your eyes will ever see. And when that day comes, you'll realize how much of life you threw away by never being here. The tragedy isn't death itself. It's that you never lived while you had the chance. Master the present moment, and you stop being a refugee. You come home to your life. You walk into reality like a conqueror who has returned from exile. And when people look at you, they'll feel it, an intensity, a groundedness, an electricity in your presence. You'll stop being the scattered ghost, and you'll become the unshakable force, a man who doesn't just exist, but lives, fully, dangerously, magnificently, right here, right now. Discomfort is the battlefield where the weak are broken and the strong are born. Every easy choice you make, the warm bed when dawn calls you to rise, the soft food when your body craves discipline, the silence when truth claws at your throat, those choices are daggers turned inward. They slice at your spirit, leaving you hollow, fragile, unprepared for the war that is life. You cannot dodge suffering. You cannot outwit struggle. Pain is marching toward you whether you welcome it or not. The only question is, will it meet you as a trembling servant of comfort, or as a warrior who has already bled in training, who has already sharpened his soul against the grindstone of voluntary hardship? Seneca knew this, and he lived like a man training for war even in palaces. He had gold, servants, banquets, but he stripped it away by choice. He ate bread so rough it scraped his throat. He slept on stone floors that bit into his back. He wrapped himself in garments that itched and burned. Not because he lacked wealth, but because he wanted to master fear before fear could master him. He looked poverty in the eyes and asked, "Is this what I feared?" And every time he came out harder, sharper, unbreakable. Now look at yourself as if under torchlight in the dead of night, the truth too clear to run from. Every morning when you surrender to the snooze button, you lose a battle before the day has even begun. Every time you scroll instead of sweat, you trade strength for weakness. Every time you choose comfort, you polish the chains that keep you bound. Do not lie to yourself. These are not harmless habits. They are scars of surrender. And the longer you bow, the heavier the chains will grow, until one day you are too weak to stand at all. Life is not kind. It is not waiting for you to be ready. The storm does not care if you are warm or rested. It will split your house in two without hesitation. Death will not delay its strike, because you chose to hide under blankets. Loss, pain, betrayal. These are the swords already drawn, already moving toward you. If you have not trained for the fire, it will consume you. If you have not built armor from discomfort, you will shatter on first impact. So here is your command. Seek the fire before it seeks you. Take the cold shower that feels like knives on your skin. Rise before dawn and greet the darkness as if it were your brother. Push your body until it trembles, until your lungs burn like bellows. Step into the conversations that make your heart pound, and speak the words your cowardice has kept locked away. Refuse the easy pleasure, spit out the soft luxury, and choose instead the path lined with thorns, because every chosen hardship is a sword sharpened, a shield reinforced, a scar earned in training instead of defeat. Do this, and when the storms of life descend, you will not cower. You will stand in the fire with a grin carved across your face, knowing that you were forged for this very moment. You will not break. You will make war. Do you want me to push this even further into pure chaos and madness, with imagery of blood, fire, and the audience being dragged through the furnace until they feel scorched? You now possess 5 weapons that can completely transform your existence, but knowledge without action is nothing more than expensive entertainment for people too comfortable to change. These principles have been battle-tested by emperors and slaves, philosophers and warriors for over 2,000 years. They work. The question isn't whether these rules will transform your life. The question is whether you have the courage to let them. Tonight, when your head hits that pillow, you face a choice that will echo through every day you have left on this planet. You can wake up tomorrow and return to being a victim of your phone, your emotions, your toxic relationships, your scattered attention, and your addiction to comfort. Or you can begin the painful, beautiful transformation into someone who doesn't just survive modern life, but dominates it completely. The Stoics understood that philosophy isn't something you study in books. It's something you bleed into reality through daily practice. These aren't concepts to think about. They're weapons to wield in the war for your soul. If this message has awakened something fierce inside you, don't let that fire die. Like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear this truth, Subscribe to join an army of people who refuse to accept mediocrity, and drop your commitment in the comments. Your transformation starts now. The only question is, are you ready to become unstoppable?